qualified for the World Cup. Go and compete.
And it's recording. Wow. I'm nervous.
Yeah, what do we say?
Hello, and welcome to the Put Them Under Pressure podcast. That's your host, Adrian. Remember when you used to do the, was it the Twitter and the Snapchat and the fucking everything?
We have a
Snapchat. Do we?
No, we don't.
We just get loads of dick pics.
Yeah, we've an OnlyFans account. Sign up to @PUPcast on OnlyFans.
What the fuck would our stories even look like? Sure, we're just sitting in our rooms for the past year. Here's this corner of my bedroom, and tomorrow you'll see that corner of my bedroom. I'm sorry, nice. I have a cat here now. She's just staying with us for a few days, but she can't seem to decide what room she wants to be in. So she wanted to be with me until about 30 seconds ago. Well, listen, Mrs., you don't have the option anymore.
Cats are picky. Is it the same cat that would have been there the last time?
I think so, visited? Yeah, she's
kind of timid.
Yeah, timid is the word. Cat or dog people.
I kind of get allergies to cats, I think. That's not confirmed, but yeah.
I know how to get to you.
Yeah, that's it. You've known all along, Flynn.
You're kryptonite, yeah. I have a big car full of cats up to the door. You'd be killed before you got there.
Yeah, Flynn scratched the people.
Help, Kieran, help me.
The perfect revenge.
I think I'm actually a dog person, but I do like cats. Cats are kind of cuter, you know. Cats can take care of themselves as well. You don't have to walk a cat every single day.
Yeah, I think it depends, you know. I think for me anyway, I know there's various breeds of dogs and whatever, but I think it very, very much depends on a big dog or a small dog. Because big dogs are generally dumb and just quite playful. Small ones seem to want to fight a lot. So, I don't know. I wouldn't like small dogs.
Fucking people walking around with their dogs not on a lead drives me mental. And they come up to you and bouncing all over you, grabbing you and barking. And the owners are just like, no, he's very friendly. So I don't know that. And that's what everyone says before a dog attacks someone or mauls someone is he's never done that before.
Yeah,
great.
This is so out of character. I actually have some.
He's not that kind of dog.
I have a similar thing that happened in the week actually. Crossing over and it's a traffic light, pedestrian traffic light between a park. There's parks on both sides. There's a lot of foot traffic and a lot of people walking dogs. And same thing that happened where they had him on a leash, but they had him on one of those long leashes, not the ones that you can pull back in. So it's pretty long. And the owner started, say, on the left-hand side. The dog decided it was going to the right. And the owner was oblivious. And there's people coming the other way, having to step over the leash while the man's just walking on. What a prick.
Was he an old guy?
Not old enough that you'd be like, oh, he's just an old lad. You know?
Yeah.
Of an age where maybe he doesn't have dementia as an excuse.
No, but there's a certain ignorance that comes with old age, I think, as well, where they're just like, look, I'm this old, you fucking walk around me. I always felt that as well, that people say young people are rude or inconsiderate or whatever. I think young people are the most polite people, and these 60-year-old women at the bus stop are the rudest, the ones who come into shops giving out to people. Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, because there's far more examples where it's been an old person or someone who should know better that you see this kind of behavior from, rather than kids. You don't see any videos. You go on Reddit and you go into that was it public freak out subreddit, and all it is middle-aged women fighting about putting a mask on. You never see teenagers complaining about having to wear a mask.
Yeah, I
It's
think
another problem.
there's an entitlement as you get older that like
Yeah,
you've lived this long, so you're entitled to, I don't know,
that's
an
what I wanted to
opinion.
say, is that older people would often say there's a great sense of entitlement in younger people. They feel like they're entitled to a lot. The entitlement that I see is coming from old people who feel they can do anything they want because they're old. Congratulations, you didn't die. That's all you've done. Like, that's all you've achieved, is not died.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and to
And
agree.
speaking of old people, Hanley, you're old now. What's
Oh.
it like being a prick?
Boomer.
It doesn't feel any different. Yeah, it's I should have thanked you actually for partaking in some birthday surprises and things. That was very, very nice. Very
Yes.
pleasant surprise. Yeah.
That is
So
good crack.
I'm 30 now. And for a lot of people listening, it's coming. It's coming your way. There's no stopping it. But do you know what? I didn't mind turning 30, but it did make me think a bit in terms
Okay.
of not like, not so much thinking about death or anything like that, but more so thinking like, where should you be when you're 30? I think this is something that probably a lot of people do think about is, when you're a kid, you've certain expectations of when I'm 20, I'm probably going to like, I don't know, have a girlfriend or, have a cool car or something. When I'm 30, like I'm a proper adult, I'll be married and I'll have kids. And when I'm 40, I'll be a millionaire, So
Mm,
I don't know. It did make me maybe look at my life and go, am I, if I was 8 years old now looking at my life at 30, would I be surprised or would I be kind of going, yeah, that looks about right? Or would I be disappointed?
what did you decide on?
Probably a mix. Yeah, I think, I don't think anyone we know could look at themselves now and go, I've aced it. This is exactly textbook where you should be at 30. And this idea of where you should be at 30 is kind of bollocks anyway. It's just like, what's a successful 30-year-old? Is it having kids or is it being independent? Or, I know some people that have everything that they should have at 30, if you want to put it that way, but I don't know, they can't do something else. They can't drive or something, so it's all relative, really.
Yeah, that's fair. It's because it's changed too, right? I think when we grow up or when we're a bit younger, we're like judging the milestones off of previous generations where it was a lot easier to have like a family, a house, a car, a profession by 30 or your mid 30s. Whereas now it's sure you can't even get out of renting until you're nearing retirement at this point. So it's a tricky one.
Irish people have the oldest average age to get married in the world.
Really?
I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mid
One of the-
30s is normal in Ireland.
Yeah.
Which is weird too, considering how Catholic.
Yeah, it
Irish
is weird. Yeah, I don't know why that happened. Because there are other Catholic countries that get married super young.
Mm.
I don't know what we do. I mean, people just stay in relationships for like 15 years here, and then they're like, okay, now we'll get married.
Yeah. There is a lot of that. I think it's kind of a pushback from maybe what it used to be, where you couldn't live with your partner unless you got married, whereas now people don't have to be like that, so they just do whatever the fuck they want.
And women had to like leave the workforce when they got married in a lot of jobs.
That's it. Yeah.
Like they had to. They didn't even have a choice. They like literally had to leave by law.
Think you guys are going to be nervous about turning 30, or do you think you'll reflect at all?
I reflect every day of my life, so
I was just about to say, for my whole most of my days of me contemplating what I've done wrong in the past 24 hours.
Yeah, it'll be no different, except instead of the past 24 hours of errors, it'll be the past 30 years of errors.
I'm just more vacant than you guys, so never mind.
No, I'm not worried too much. I mean, it's not the age you should be worried about. It's like the death, the incoming death, I suppose, that I'm more concerned about. Not to be morbid. but I do fear dying. That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, we've spoken a little bit about this. I
Not
think even on this
unusual.
podcast.
No,
It's not weird
not
to
the
fear
podcast.
death. It'd be weird if you didn't.
Yeah, but like maybe it's too prominent in my like thoughts and decisions. I'm not saying I'm suicidal or anything, but like sometimes I'm just like, oh man, 30 this year. That's
Yeah.
great. Is this half my life?
Yeah.
Have I reached the halfway point? I mean, everything can change in the morning, but
Yeah. It feels overwhelming to just even think about it, that you're gonna die
yeah,
someday, and everyone you know will die.
yeah.
Welcome to
and
the PUPcast.
Subscribe for more.
Somehow less depressing than talking about Arsenal.
Yeah, this is what it's come to. I mean, to link football in too, like this, I've not enjoyed this football season at all, really.
It's been pretty bad, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the longer it's gone on, the more I'm just like, God damn, some of these games are pretty poor. There's no flair or fun to it. But yeah, what do you guys think?
VAR especially, like I have never like this season I haven't watched a single goal since like the first weekend and been happy about it. I mean when Arsenal score. Because it's just in the back of my head, don't celebrate because they're gonna bring it back for some random flick of the wrist or whatever, like 10 minutes ago. Like and that's the main enjoyment I get in games is the goals. So I can't celebrate goals anymore. I don't feel good when goals happen. I just prepare myself for disappointment. So right now, the high point for me in games is like the final whistle, and that's it. Like I can't enjoy most of the game at all.
That's grim, isn't
And
it?
that is a lot like life.
Yeah, my favorite thing about football is when it ends.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not been. Maybe we were kind of spoilt the past couple of years. It's not even that like even Man City are running away with it, and they're not even really that exciting to watch. It's actually pretty boring. And they got good players and stuff. Liverpool are obviously disappointing, whereas they were kind of like, for me anyway, they were like my go-to team when I wanted, a football pick me up. Even that's grim this year.
Yeah, I think the no fans and the VAR and kind of the lack of competition for the actual title, and then I guess a lot of injuries as well. I mean, definitely, I'm probably maybe talking a little bit too much from a Liverpool perspective, but there has been seems just a lot of even niggling injuries. Even Rashford like constantly going off injured. He somehow comes back playing, but Vardy's been out. All these big players have been out at some point, and
random times where games get called off. I know it doesn't happen right now, but games getting called off because of COVID, players getting COVID, international friendlies where half the team gets COVID. Great crack.
Yeah,
I do think.
and
I think. No, I was just going to say I do think the top four will be an interesting last few weeks. The battle for the top four. It'll be something to watch out for in the last.
I guess it's something, yeah.
Few weeks, but
yeah.
But like, sure. Other than that, who really cares?
That's it. There's not been a really good. I know it went to the last game of the season last year, but there's not been a really good relegation battle on like a final day or a final few days for a while, or final few weeks, I should say. Which is, I don't know. Sometimes I find that's more entertaining than the actual like fight for fourth, because I just think that's a big team versus either a surprise team or a team that should be doing better going for fourth or fifth. Whereas the relegation is a bit more to play for. But then again, there's no one in the grounds to really pick up the average games.
I know. Those games, apart from watching my own team, it's the relegation battles that are the ones that I'd watch then of my own choice, because I think of like the season Sunderland survived, West Brom, Leicester. That was the season before they won the league, actually. But those survival escapes are like the most entertaining and usually the craziest stories, apart from watching your own team.
Yeah, and we've kind of that half of that's taken away because and I have to give you credit, Hanley. You did say back in the summer that Sheffield United would be where they are, You did call it, but like they've not been at the races whatsoever. So there's not even been like a glimmer of fight from them. West Brom, I mean, it's probably too late for them now. Big Sam's just plodding along, and Fulham showing some signs of, picking up. But then they've lost 4 of the last 5 games, so it's not.
Yeah, they're actually 6 points off now, and they have a game more played than Newcastle, so they're basically done. I mean, I know you can't write someone off, but
that Newcastle team is pretty poor too.
Yeah,
it is. But do I even see like Fulham? So would have to win what, like 3 games? Well, win 2.
They'd only have to win 2, and
Yeah.
for Newcastle, I know Newcastle won this weekend, but in general, I don't think it's out of the question yet. Even though Fulham's are on a shocking run at the moment too. They had a good bit of form like a couple months ago, and you thought that they could overtake Newcastle, and no, hasn't happened.
That's it. And it's like what's happened over the past few years. There's just been such bad quality, like Sheffield United this year, West Brom. I mean, we could go back to even Bournemouth and like Watford before, where there's that kind of, and look, I say this as a Palace fan, like I think we're pretty much included in this, section of teams. But a lot of teams get away with it. Like Newcastle are going to get away with it this year, whereas they should be relegated on a regular year. Brighton too. Brighton have been poor. Palace have had the most mixed form I've ever seen out of a Palace team. So there's a lot of Burnley have had a bad year too. There's so many teams that probably should be getting relegated, but they'll be there in the Premier League next year just because the teams that come up are crap.
Yeah, I was even looking at the Championship actually, because it looks like Norwich and Watford will get promoted. I kind of don't want to see Watford again. I'm sick of Watford. Norwich at least are kind of fun. Bright kits at the least. But
yeah, when I picture Norwich, I picture this kind of hamlet town, like this, a little community. Whereas when I picture Watford, I picture like a block of flats and a bus stop or something outside London.
Troy Deeney.
It's really accurate. It's very, very accurate. Yeah, Watford, I haven't seen much of it, but the areas I have, it's like a try-hard London. They're trying to be a city, but they're not quite close enough to it. Yeah. And another team that's going to come up, or looking like they might come up, is Swansea. It's like, why not get Kevin Doyle and fucking Reading back up? And let's just reel back the years with these rubbish Championship teams.
Yeah. At least Brentford and Barnsley are in the mix as well. That would be something interesting. But like even Bournemouth, I think, are in the playoff places at the minute. Don't want to see Bournemouth back again. I'm sorry, Bournemouth fans, but we're sick of you. Like, you were just dragging your heels the whole time.
Yeah. And they had a lot of promise. Bournemouth has a lot of promise, and they kind of threw it away. Very, very bad signings, mostly because of Liverpool. So it's kind of your fault, Hanley.
Yeah. Maybe I do want them back just so we can sell all their players to them again.
Sell them Trent Alexander-Arnold for 80 million or something.
I said our bad players.
Okay. I actually came across something that might be of interest to you guys, or just a bit funny at least, right? There was Birmingham Stoke played this weekend in the Championship, mid to bottom half Championship teams. They had a total of 226 passes for the entire game. Now, to put that into a bit of perspective, Arsenal had 510 accurate passes today. Like, what the fuck were they doing for 90 minutes? Where was the ball?
Jesus. I don't think I can answer. I have no idea.
Like, this is a genuine question. He wants us to find out.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder, can I use my research skills to find some highlights? See what actually happened.
Like, they just must have been in the air. They must have just kicked it really high in the air each time.
Birmingham and who?
Stoke City.
Oh, I don't think, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, let's make the assumption I am. Tragic, though.
Sorry, no.
Jeez, he's going in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have him play in the background. I'll let you know if anything interesting happens. Is Joe Allen still with Stoke? Actually,
I have no idea.
Another question for the whiteboard.
Joe Allen, James McLean, all these fucking Peter Crouch could still be with them, and I wouldn't know it. Actually, the Peter Crouch. Oh, we probably shouldn't advertise another podcast, but the Peter Crouch podcast is back. I didn't even know.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, our competition.
Yeah, it's been back for like fucking 4 months, and I didn't even know it.
Have you seen that ad with him for the horse racing or something?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
God awful. Not at him. He's actually all right in it, but the delivery of the people who I presume are professional broadcasters, like the way they speak, it's fucking terrible. It's like a school play. It's like they're in a school play, I think. Actually, talking to shite ads, have you seen that ad with your man cooking lamb using his mother's recipe on a tape recorder? Have you fucking seen this?
It rings a bell. Yeah.
Is this on TV or is it on?
I forgot. No one watches TV anymore.
No.
Jesus.
No, I haven't seen that. What I want to say before I forget is, did you know that Robbie Fowler, and again, I'm not saying to turn this podcast off, but Robbie Fowler now has a podcast as well, and he gets on like really fucking big people, well, former big players on it. Robbie Fowler podcast, there it is. He has Jurgen Klopp, Graham Souness, Joey Barton, Kenny Dalglish, Stephen Gerrard, Paul Scholes, Ian Rush, John Barnes. Yeah, I mean, it's very Liverpool heavy, but Thierry Henry, Brendan Rodgers, they're pretty big people, even still in football.
Yeah. But this goes back. This is what goes back to like my point from like the last podcast. Is that anyone can have a podcast now, especially if you're famous. Like you just invite other people on that also have a podcast.
Yeah.
And us schmucks.
Yeah.
But sure, he's like a manager in India. Like he should be up the walls.
I doubt that takes much work, to be honest.
He's just taking hours out of his day to this fucking podcast. But then he probably doesn't, because he just pays some lad from Channel 4 to produce it for him. He probably just rings him for a half hour and chats to him, and that's podcast done, and he gets massive money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What these thing I never got into was long podcasts like Joe Rogan, which are like 4 hours or something. Yeah. I don't even know where you would find the time, even in lockdown, where you have to stay in your room all day and can't go anywhere. Where are you getting the motivation to listen to 4 hours of this shit?
See, I do understand that a lot of people like who have long commutes would love that, but if I was commuting if I had a 3-hour drive, I wouldn't have one podcast on for the full 3 hours.
God, no.
I'd fucking go crazy. It's like having the same song on for 3 hours.
Yeah.
No, I'd be the same. Like I would have done it for the commute, and I also do it when I work too. Like I do 10-hour days, like, so sometimes it's nice to have a bit of background that you don't actually have to change. And I think that's the one advantage that Joe Rogan has, is that it doesn't have the one topic. Yeah, you're talking to one specific person, but it can vary. But these ones that have like that one I sent you, Hanley, there about the Swedish Premier League preview. I gave it like 20 minutes. They spoke for 2 hours and 45 minutes about the Swedish Premier League, which is I'm sure is great, but like we don't have the time for that.
They went into detail for every single team, like. Is it 20 teams? I assume. Come on.
Yeah, it was 16. Yeah, it was a long time, a very long time. And then they gave like the top 10 players. I was like, could you not have included them in the 8 minutes you gave each team?
The way podcasts go now is like everyone can do them and everyone's making them, and it's still a bit of a wild west when it comes to podcasts. But like. They do what radio can't do, which is like, if you want to talk about football for 5 hours, you can do that. And if people want to listen to it, they can listen to it. And there's no restrictions on it compared to radio, where you have to fit in X amount of topics and different subjects. But back in like the early days of radio, it was a lot like podcasts are now, where it was really independent stations, and people would get on and they'd talk on their own sometimes for 4 or 5 hours about nothing. They'd just talk about whatever came to mind, and people would listen to it. It'd be great. Like Betty White, if you ever heard of her, she used to get on radio and just talk for 7 hours a day, every day of the week. Like she was a big star. And then she had a TV show where she did the same. It was just her on screen, because that was the cheapest thing they could do. They had no other way of making anything for television. So all they did was film radio. That's how TV started. They were just like, we have nothing to put on this. Let's just film radio people. So you just have to watch these people every day. She was the Joe Rogan of her time. Like,
Is it like pre-porn era?
Pre-porn?
Yeah. Is that what men would look at then instead, when there wasn't Playboy invented or something? I don't know when porn started, actually, to be honest. So I don't know.
It's a good question.
Yeah. Is it? Well, I mean, it depends what you class it as. So didn't they find like, drawings on walls and murals of like
That'd be
dicks and
hard.
tits?
You'd have to. I mean, you'd have to be desperate, which they were.
Yeah.
That's why art started getting better. That's the only reason.
Yeah. But the amount of titties in like all those old art paintings, if you go into museums and things, like it's all titties. And I doubt women walked around with their titties out the whole time. So it was definitely an arousal thing.
Yeah, some like the first ever sculptor or artist back then was just like, we'll fool the lads in 2,000 years time.
Yeah,
and let them think that they always had their tits out.
Yeah, they probably assumed that like the art museums these days would just be a big wank fest.
Probably,
and they are.
Go in there and whack one out. Like.
Yeah,
but this is it, because back then they'd comment on like the women's beautiful form and stuff, and it was meant to be artistic, but they were probably just being creepy. Like if we said that now, we'd be a weirdo or a creep.
That's why those statues are the ones that survived, because people were like, this is such a perfect drawing of someone's arse. Yeah. Like, we can't let this go. Like, we have to save this. So it just got preserved down through those generations, people wanking off over it for thousands of years.
So like the statue of David is basically the ancient equivalent of the plastic bag of porn mags under a bush.
Yeah, he's actually fucking scarlet that we ever found that. It's his secret shame.
Yeah. There's also naked people all over churches and stuff as well. People with their tits out inside in churches and that.
Yeah.
I never got. Anytime you see Jesus on the cross, like, he's absolutely ripped. He's banging the protein shakes,
and as pale as someone from fucking Connemara, like.
First man to use sunscreen. Jesus of Nazareth.
I mean, when I used to be sitting in mass, bored out of my fucking tree, at least the paintings of him getting crucified in stages was some form of entertainment. It was like, start at picture one and then just look around the church, and at the end, there he is walking out of a cave or something, and you're like, oh, brilliant.
Holy moly, that's good. Do you guys still go to mass ever?
No.
No. Last time I went was for someone's communion, probably.
Well, I'd go to like a remembrance mass if someone.
Yeah. Or like a funeral or something, like, but you don't, like, even on Easter, which we just had.
No. Sometimes I would go on Christmas if my parents asked me to go.
Okay.
I don't. I'm not going to say no. You're fucking morons for believing that shit, but no. I'm not going to say that to him.
You should. Could you do that and record it, and we'll make it an episode?
I never had any any discussion about religion with my parents whatsoever. Like, one day I just stopped going. and they didn't say a word about it. Which
Yeah.
I feel like I'm lucky, because I'm sure a lot of people didn't have it that way.
No,
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah, mine was the same. To be honest, it was just like I don't know. Maybe it was expected. That's the only thing
Yeah.
I can think.
That's
Maybe
it.
they felt, oh, you lucky fucker, you're free now.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of it as well is well, I don't know about you guys, but I think there's a lot of pressure from grandparents, like make sure that you're bringing him to church every Sunday, and like grandparents asking the grandson or daughter, like, did you go to church this week? And once the grandparents move on, the parents probably don't feel they need to.
That's true.
Yeah, I'd bet good money that the only reason I'm Catholic is because of my grandparents and what they might think if I wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't think my parents were like overly religious. I think they were religious. I think they was going through the motions.
exactly. And the fucking school system and all that kind of shit, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just asked you something on that, guys. Because like I know I guess where we grew up, the primary school would have been religious connections, but we went to a community college, right? Which wouldn't have been. Well, I know we had like a priest and stuff, but it wasn't exactly
I know. I'm not even sure
religion
how it
school.
worked, to be honest.
Yeah, because we had a graduation mass, like
Yeah.
a Catholic graduation mass, and I know people had issue with that.
Yeah, because I think that's that's the difference, isn't it? That you're supposed to go and it's all accepting. Because like when I was in England, like I went to a Catholic secondary school for a couple of years, and I had to be like confirmed. You know, I had to be like baptized, confirmation, communion, all that stuff to get in. But it's really weird then because in England you have to have like there's like a diversity act, which meant that people of all religions had access to go to schools, but it was like a weird test that you had to take, but not everyone did. But anyway, it's again, Ireland is way more Catholic than the UK, yet it feels that it isn't in other ways.
But is it still mostly Catholic or religious primary schools in Ireland?
I honestly don't know.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, because like I was thinking about the other day, like if I had a kid, would I, christen them or baptize them or whatever? I say him, her, whatever.
What you're hoping for, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
CCCP.
But do you have to do that to get them into a Catholic primary school? And if they do that, do they have to get confirmed or get their communion? But obviously, if they go in, you're not going to tell them you can't get your communion when all their other friends are having a big party and they're not. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, from my own experience in getting my son into school, it does. We weren't asked. Like you had to put it on a form and stuff, but I think it was optional. And I do remember as well from, I'm going to say like via cousins going to see theirs, that there were people like non-religious or of other faiths that went to the ceremonies, but they didn't, I guess, do the act of taking communion or
Cross their
for the
fingers.
first time. Or yeah, like threw salt over their right shoulder or something, whatever the fuck it is these days.
As soon as it was over, they just went take backsies.
God's like, oh, again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gave you life.
Yeah.
Eat my body.
We talked about this before. Yeah. How fucking ridiculous the whole thing is.
Like, it doesn't taste like flesh. It's like, well, it is.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Once it's in your mouth, it turns into flesh. Trust me.
I mean, a priest has said that many times in many different contexts, I'm sure.
Jesus Christ. Take the body of Christ.
Fuck. Maybe we should all have just been raised Buddhists or something. We'd be better off.
We probably would have now, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, I heard a thought experiment thing that comes from like Buddhism. It's like a question that's asked in Buddhism. It's like if you had a button and if you press it, all of existence disappears, like everything. It's all gone. There's nothing left at all. Would you press it? And I was like, is there a second part to that? Like, that doesn't, it's an interesting wager you have there. I'm like, I'm not sure why anyone would push it. But I think what they say is that it's a kind of questions whether you think there's more suffering in the world or in existence than non-suffering. So if by pressing it, you're sparing people and sparing everyone, and you don't really have to worry about, your kids or whatever, because it's all gone anyway, compared to having to carry on where people are just going to have a bad time. The majority of people and living things and everything in the universe is going to, on balance, have a worse time. And that the only reason that you live is to try to prevent that happening as much as you can. But if you had a button that could just get rid of everything, some people would say you should push it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's psychopathic.
Yeah, because surely anyone who, I don't think there's anyone on Earth. Well, that's excessive, but I definitely think there's not any sort of majority of people on Earth who are suffering enough that they want to die.
Well, maybe they suffer in thinking things can get better.
Yeah, but at least that's some existence. Hope is a significant part of life.
There's 20,000 Palace season ticket holders that every Saturday would disagree.
Arsenal fan just they gave the button. I'm just hammering it.
They keep missing.
Arsenal just won 3-0, by the way. Can we stop fucking...
Well, they drew midweek with fucking Slavia, racist asshole club from Prague. And what happened then? They lost to Liverpool badly the previous game. It'd been pretty bad for a while. I know they just beat bottom of the table, Sheffield. Hip, hip, hurrah. Fine.
Well, you should do that again. That should be like something that we build into like a soundboard.
Yes.
Hip, hip, hurrah.
Where's that button? Fuck's sake.
Yeah. No, it's kind of similar. Palace and Arsenal are having a very statistically similar season. So that makes us good friends, Flynn.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Great.
We're not having a good season either. Can I be friends?
No.
Oh.
You go back there with your fucking trophy.
Yeah, Liverpool, they can't get European football, really. Oh, well, no, they can't get European football, obviously. But it doesn't look like they'll get Champions League, and they'll probably not get Champions League by winning it.
Well, they're in a much better position than they were a few weeks ago.
Right.
They've had a few spirited wins, I think is how I should word it.
Jammy.
Spirited. So yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Jam.
The top four, so between Leicester and Tottenham, really, and Everton actually aren't even that far behind because they're 2 games fewer played. So it's interesting. But it would be they'd want to be winning the rest of their games pretty much, and it looks like they're going out against Madrid. If there were fans in the stadium, you'd hope that they'd manage some sort of, I don't know, another miracle of Anfield, but I don't think it'll happen. Not with the team that they have.
No, but the one thing that's in everyone's favour, apart from Leicester's, is that Leicester are having an internal meltdown. Did you see that like Perez and Chowdhury and Madison were dropped today?
I didn't actually, no.
Yeah, they were dropped. There's rumours all week. I mean, rumours. I'm talking about Twitter, basically saying that they, the 3 of them, Barnes and someone else, I either don't remember their name or they didn't recognise them. They're probably not first team. Apparently, they broke COVID rules, went to like some house party and stuff, and then Brendan Rodgers handled it. The enforcer. And they all dropped from the team. Now Barnes is injured, so that didn't really matter, but then they go to lose 3-2 today. So there might be trouble in the club, which means that United will yet again pucks their way above Leicester for a second season in a row, and it might give Liverpool a chance at stealing a spot.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't hear that, but that's interesting. Leicester, they've kind of done what they did last season, where they really had a very good first half and then quietly fell away to being actually very shit towards the end.
Mm.
Kind of seeing a bit of a pattern in Rodgers now, I must say.
After all this time.
Yeah. It only took me fucking 8 years or something.
They've been very unlucky with injuries, though. I have to say that. Every one of their good players is injured, or has been.
Yeah. No, I agree. I do.
Take him over Klopp though, right now, wouldn't it?
No, I wouldn't. No, I would not go away with that.
Really?
Fuck off. Take him over Klopp. Now, I'm going to get hammered with this question now during the week and ask for proof. I don't need any proof. Klopp has won more with Liverpool than anyone else has in the last 30 years, so I would absolutely stick with Klopp over Brendan Rodgers.
It's on the record now.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that fucking finger in the eye?
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about?
I'm still traumatized from it.
What, when Mourinho poked Tito Villanova in the eye?
That's the one.
So I don't even know what it did. He even make contact? This is the McTominay thing for anyone who doesn't know.
Mhm.
But you know what? I've seen so many of those given as at least fouls, if not red cards. So
Yeah.
I really have an issue with it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
biased
didn't
as
either.
fuck, but I didn't.
And McTominay should have got another yellow.
Yep.
I think so. I think so too.
Yeah. I mean,
Glad we're in
Jesus.
agreement.
The lads,
There's
the
not a
lads are
United.
yeah. The
Fucking
lads are going to
United
think this
fans.
is us planning again.
You can't
And
do
we are.
fucking shit.
Yeah, set up your own podcast.
Yeah.
But this is it. Look, I had one ready to go, and in fairness, Dave said he thought it was a foul as well, and he gave an example of Sol Campbell doing it. I had one ready of do you remember Lazar Markovic for Liverpool? He got sent off
Wow.
a few years ago in the Champions League for doing the same thing and got a straight red card. Very, very, very similar to McTominay, and he got a straight red. So I was kind of thinking, it happens. Like, it's not. If it were me, do I think that should be a straight card sending off? No. Do I think if he makes contact, is it a foul? Maybe not. But in the rules, yeah, it probably is. But we always say the rules of football are fucking stupid. So
Yeah. It was. I can understand why United were and United fans are angry at that because
Pissed about him.
yeah, but there's been so many bad decisions across the season. I don't think they should be up in arms about this one. I think there's probably, if we looked back, look back to the Palace game at the start of the season with the penalty retake and then the retake again and then being able to change who takes the penalty. But I mean, it's like, it's not worth. I get why they're annoyed, of course, but they still won the game, and it didn't really change the course of the game. It could have, but Spurs weren't at the races. They scored one goal off the counter. Like, it wasn't as if it was a comfortable win for United, I felt.
Yeah. I just love seeing Mourinho collapse. So long may it continue.
Yes. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer giving his old tough guy act to the Sky Sports commentator after the game.
Yeah.
Those comments were all so bizarre from him and from Mourinho as well.
Yeah.
Yes, they were very weird. It was like partridge moments, like from both of them.
Yeah. It's as if they were being told what to do and then acting it badly.
Did Solskjaer say something like, if my son did something similar, I'd let him go hungry?
Yeah. And did he say his son because of the player's name is Youngman's son?
I have no idea. It didn't make sense.
Does he think son is called son because he's somebody's son?
I really don't.
Yeah, does he think he's Mourinho's son?
I have no idea. The whole thing was fucking weird. But Mourinho always makes it about him. Then he's like, "Why aren't you asking me about that? You treat me different to everyone else."
Yeah.
Get
Well,
over it, man. You're fucking 50. Like, get a life.
only 20 years older than us.
I can't wait till I'm that entitled.
Yeah, it was actually him at the traffic lights the other day for this dog just tripping everyone up.
Or that fucking old bitch in the car. Remember I was telling you about that?
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not even a story worth telling, but there was an old woman who was stuck in traffic and just beeping constantly for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. Like, would not let her hand off the horn because traffic was slow.
Can't stand that.
It was just traffic. It was just, sorry, everyone's slow because it's traffic, but no one's doing anything wrong. But traffic was just not going quick enough for her. It was outrageous.
I've only ever used the horn in my car to say hello to someone.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, even if it comes a point where, like, and it's happened, where like going around a roundabout and someone just drives straight through the roundabout while you're turning on it and nearly kills you and everyone else. I still haven't beeped the horn because by the time I've reacted to, say, oh, I should have beeped the horn, they're long gone anyway. It doesn't do much.
Sometimes I find it difficult to gauge what kind of horn beep is friendly and what's not. Like, if someone
Beep.
Yeah.
Beep, beep.
Like if I'm
Road
behind
runner.
someone and the light goes green and they don't move for like 3 or 4 seconds, I think that's enough to give them a beep. But you don't want to go any longer than like beep. That's enough.
Yeah.
Beep.
Mm.
If you go beep, way too much. Like, that's aggressive. Little
I
boop.
think
That's all
you need little chirpy parp.
Yeah. Oh, 2. Ooh. Parp. That's
Yeah,
like hurry up.
Oh,
Please.
is it? Yeah,
That's 3.
That's 3.
Hurry up, please.
Nice.
Oh, you
Yeah.
just get the Dixie horn fucking thing, like Dukes of Hazzard on your car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what my horn even sounds like. I don't think I've
That's how you know you're a polite person.
It's probably really, really high pitched one now that I won't like. I want a proper manly horn.
Like a foghorn, is it?
You have to pull a little cord.
Yes. The truck ones. The train ones, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
steam
man.
coming out the top of your car.
Life after 30 is so cool.
Ugh,
You can
stop.
you can consider this stuff
Yeah.
custom horns.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to bring up? I just
Not particularly.
Football was
Yeah.
kind of slow and stuff.
I can't bring anything up if you haven't seen the ad with your man cooking lamb using his mother's voice on tape recorder.
I don't think I have.
Why don't we play it? And you could add it into the podcast, and then everyone
I'd rather
can see
not.
it too.
I don't want to give it any more attention, actually.
Okay.
Just let
Fair
it
enough.
die. Let that ad go. Fuck.
I have to watch it now, though.
No, it's not even bad. There's just something really off about it. Something like at the core of that ad, there's something rotten.
Yeah, well, all the key words you're saying, like fella, lamb, mother, recording, it's not getting a good picture in my head.
It's one of these ads that tries to use like sentimental, like someone's dead mother, the memory of them to sell something. You see it a lot of times, people, ads where like his wife just died, so they're gonna go get like a cup of Bovril or something. So Bovril will ease the pain. Or this one who's like 80 years old, living alone in a house, and she's has arthritis and brittle bones, and she's after falling down the stairs or something, and she can't contact anyone, like, so she's just gonna die. But then she sees like a whisper on the floor, and she remembers how she used to eat whispers with like her granddaughter or something. So she takes a bite of the whisper and then like it'll come up on screen like Whisper makes it all okay or something. Something like that. It's like one of those kind of ads where this fella, he's cooking lamb and he's talking away to someone off screen, and then it shows that he's talking to a tape recorder which has got his mother's voice on it, and it's like labeled Mam's Lamb Recipe 95 or something. And like after he cooks the lamb, he takes the tape out of the recorder and kisses it and puts it back on the shelf.
Ugh.
And like then they all settle down to have roast lamb using their mom's recipe. There's so many problems I have with this ad on like a moral level, and even just the whole concept of it is fucking stupid. Because if he's been making this lamb, presumably since 40 years or something, because when they walk in, they're like, "Oh, you made Mam's lamb again," and he's like, "Yeah, sure did." You don't need the recipe, and there's not much to it. There doesn't seem to be much to it. He just roasts the lamb with garlic. That's all it is. And like, you can't remember to do that, you fucking moron, without listening to his mother's tape recorder. Like, there's something really rotten as well about using debt to sell anything like that. Like, it's appealing to like the worst kind of sentimental, soppiness, saying like, I can't stand it. I can't stand it in songs either, where like songs about someone's parent dying. Like, I don't know if you ever heard the song Dance with My Father, Luther Vandross or something.
Yeah.
Or like The Living Years, where like this guy is talking about how he wished he had told his dad how much he loved him or something. And it's like a sentimental song designed to get you all welling up. These songs are fucking rotten. Like they really are. They have something wrong with them. Like, you can't avoid these things happening. Like, your parents die. Everyone's parents die. So they make this song that they know is going to get to the heart of someone, that they can't, turn it off. You can't pretend you don't care, and it's going to make you emotional. And you're going to feel, oh yeah, wouldn't it have been great to spend more time with my parents? It's like, yeah, fucking would have. Why are you making this song? What is this song adding to anyone's life at all, other than to fucking try to scramble some money out of it? You fucking cunts. I hate it. I'm sorry.
As a musician, Adrian, you might have a response to that. Why do people make music?
I know. I mean, I do see your point. I just don't know if anyone. Look, I'm not a fucking singer songwriter. I don't know, but
What?
Well, I'm not.
Not with that attitude.
Have you written any songs?
No.
Okay. All right. Never mind. So,
but what I would say is, I know that people generally, I guess, people who do that and have that skill are usually, what's the word? Oh, what's the fucking word when something makes you do something? Not encouraged.
compelled.
Thank you. No, not compelled.
Right.
You're going to have to cut this.
Something makes them do something.
Inspires, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. People are usually inspired by something, whether it be a breakup or, fucking whatever, something really good happening. But a lot of the time it's something really bad happening. And a lot of the time it is death or how someone feels after it. I mean, look at poetry. A lot of poetry is about stuff like that.
I can get on board with a lot of songs and poems, like a breakup. Like, if you talk about a breakup that happened and like regret, that's fine, because that's like, how to word this now? If your parents dying is like an unavoidable thing, and there's no choices to be made and nothing to be learned from it really, other than I miss my parents. Whereas like, if songs about breakups or war or anything like that, where like what you do in future will make a difference, or what you think of it now, where you can change things and you can become a different person, and like the feelings of emotion mean something more than just pure misery and pure like sentimental rubbish. Because that's like those songs about dancing with your father, that's not going to do anything for anyone.
What if some? Well, I actually don't agree with you, because I don't think there's anyone who, as their parent is dying, goes, "Great, now I get to write a song about this."
Oh, they do. I bet they do. I think
do
so.
not
They're-
think so. And I
There's
think
someone who's done everything. All right.
there's someone who's done everything, obviously, but I think a majority of those are people dealing with grief in this way, writing a song, and then they go, "God, maybe this would make other people feel better. Dancing with your father, and your father's just died. What a lovely idea!" Like, I don't know.
But it's not lovely, is it though? Because they're just it's like a cynical ploy to make a commercial record that will appeal to people to make money off it.
What about Ricky Martin's "Living La Vida Loca"? Though that's a song that we can all support.
That is
I
a banger.
suppose.
Clearly, it's a banger.
It is actually a bit of a banger, yeah.
It is. It is. Let's
When my parents die, that's what I'll be thinking of.
Dun, dun.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
I can
dun,
understand
dun,
why
dun.
Ricky Martin would sing a song like that. Because,
Yeah.
he's living La Vida Loca. Why not
He
share
is.
that with other people?
Yeah, yeah. He kind of was a one-hit wonder, wasn't he? Old Ricky. I know he had a few other songs, but
It's a bit weird how famous he was and still is over like just that, really.
I wonder
Yeah.
was he more famous among, I don't know, like the Latin community, and we just didn't know the rest of his songs.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so. Because "Living La Vida Loca" was a Spanish song that they translated to English before it took off.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I also have a weird memory of Ricky Martin from, I don't know, did you guys watch CD UK with Ant and Dec, and I think it was Cat Deely? It's like a Saturday morning TV show, but it was on ITV, so you might not have had it.
Don't think
No,
so.
I doubt it. No.
No, okay. Well, it was like Saturday morning Top of the Pops for kids, and they might have like a couple of pre-recorded like songs from like the current charts on it, and it was around the time of Ricky Martin's heyday, and there was like rain for one of the songs, like fake rain on the stage. Apparently he got like taken to hospital afterwards because he got pneumonia for that performance, and I don't know why,
Brilliant.
but I just always remember that. Yeah, it must be important. Like something in the future will be important.
Do you ever have moments where like you think, I'm going to remember this, even though it's not an important moment, where you just think, I'm like here looking at the wall, and then you remember yourself looking at the wall or just doing nothing in particular, and you're kind of wondering, why do I remember that specific moment, like where I can see everything about it? No?
No, I do. Yeah,
Kind of.
sometimes. Yeah.
As in, I remember something random, or I decide I'm going to remember this moment.
Both, actually, kind of, because I've done it where I'm like, I remember being like 7 years old, and I was like lying under my parents' bed, like, and I was just like, on one Sunday afternoon, and I was just like, I'm going to remember where I am right now forever. And I do. It's really weird. Like, it's like not a moment that meant anything at all. But I remember everything about the room and what I was wearing and how I was lying down and I was looking out the window. It's fucking weird.
Do you know that might be like a suppressed memory, and something like terrible happened.
My God.
Yeah, murder going on top of the bed, like flipping onto your face.
Yeah, what a pleasant moment under the bed.
My CIA handlers are just like, oh no, he's been activated.
Connor Bourne.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. There really isn't that much we can talk about in terms of football that we wouldn't be repeating ourselves. Like, I did want to say something about Cavani, if I can, mostly just to, probably get people angry, but I don't intend to. It's the Cavani, as good as he's been for United this year, just like Ibrahimovic, he's a plug in the whole of a sinking ship, who are already, there's talks of him renewing, and he's not interested. He wants to go to South America presumably to take cocaine and retire. But it's they, they really just tread water. They're so plucky, But Cavani, for as great as he is another mid-30s striker that just does the job for a year for them, and they don't actually fix the problems that they have.
Yeah,
It'll be back to square one next year. Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, I agree. They seem to think that Martial and Rashford and Greenwood can all play in the middle, but apparently they can't. Not very well, anyway. So
Yeah,
we'll fuck off, and they'll have to find someone else, and they'll probably try and get Kane. And well, hopefully they don't get him. That's all I can say, really.
And for all of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fantastic man management, why does he keep playing an injured Rashford and running him into the ground?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a fucking clue what he's doing.
Poor old Donny van de Beek must feel like he is forgotten.
What was that about? Well, he cost 40 million, and he's played 8 minutes. Brilliant. Good job getting rid of Lingard as well for him.
I mean, the results for United have been undeniably better this season, but I still think there's big questions over some of his decisions in terms of Van de Beek, fucking letting Lingard go. This is a question that I don't know how people aren't raising this somehow. He's like player of the year of 2021, and United fans are all applauding, saying brilliant. And I'm kind of going, are you not wondering why the fuck he's not doing that for United? Like, well, I'd be worried.
Yeah. I wouldn't be pleased if there was a Palace player on loan playing as well as Lingard is, who was previously crap, might I add, for Palace, for United, to suddenly be amazing. I don't know, it just all boils down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I guess.
Big question marks. He's a lot to answer for, that guy.
He's a lot to answer for, this fella.
Yeah. We talk about Pep Guardiola being a fraud, and the fact that he's always landed himself with like super players. I remember hearing a lot about how well Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did at Molde in Norway. I'm sure he has the fucking young player of the year. He had that one season was with Haaland. So that's
his career is all built on a pack of lies.
Precisely. And we've said it all along.
It would be pure United to get Haaland in the summer, though, wouldn't it? It would be pure fucking United.
Yeah, I'm not that worried.
No. He could. I mean, he's great. He could be a train wreck too. He's a bit of a cocky fucker, and he's not exactly Mr. Consistent either. Well, scores goals, but he's still young.
He's also like 6'4". Did you know that?
I knew he was tall enough. Yeah,
he's massive. Fucking hell. But yeah, he's a bit of a weirdo.
He's a loose cannon.
He is. Yeah.
I think he's mad into like Trump as well or something.
Oh, really?
And Pulisic as well.
Why? Well, Pulisic, I guess, I understand because he's American, but what's the Norwegian lad living in Germany interested in Trump for?
Well, I don't know, is it Trump or more that like right-wing memes and that kind of stuff.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, people be doing that. More people than we think as well. Yeah, it's quite prominent.
They walk among us.
It's not all just Irish Simpson fans page in the comments. I'm kind of sad that that's come back because I actually didn't mind it being gone. I think the fun of the page is gone. You get the odd good post, and I do enjoy those, but my God, it's like a cesspit of I'm more righteous than you in the comments. It's quite
There's one fella in
tough to
particular.
read sometimes.
I won't say who, but there's one guy who comments on things, and his opinions on everything are fucking stupid. Like everything. He's a big fan of. Oh, I can't even say it because it'll just give away who he is to anyone who looks at the page. You know who I'm talking about. Look, leave it there.
You can just say it and cut it because I'm very curious.
Nah,
All right.
he's harmless. Harmless.
All right.
Do we know him, or is it just a random
No,
poster?
no, don't think so.
Okay, well, I have to go looking for comments now. Thanks, Flynn.
Go read the comments on every single Ireland Simpsons fan post.
Yeah, turns out it's like Hanley tagging Sonia or something.
There he is. Oh.
Got him.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Actually, because I think we've run out of football topics. Does anyone watching or have any interest in Formula One ever?
Not really,
No.
to be honest.
No.
Or
I had a
horse
cousin
racing.
Yeah, horse racing. Yeah, horse racing is just gambling. Let's be honest. No one gives a shit about the horses. They want the money. They want to
Yeah.
win money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated
with the-
how,
with-
like, the past weekend we had to be all so proud about Rachel Blackmore or whatever. Fuck that.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
go on about Formula
Yeah,
One.
no, sorry. Yeah, I'm the same too. It's just kind of weird, because they shoot the poor ponies if they fall down.
They liquidize them, yeah, and it's just accepted. It's like, yeah, that's another one gone. Another one's like legs shattered, jumping over a fucking ditch.
Because it's not until you get to a race course do you see how high they jump. Now I know they're big things, so that it's not exactly like I know they need to make it a bit challenging, but like they're fucking big. They've got these tiny little jockeys on it too. I'd hate to come off the back of a horse over one of those jumps, and then be like at the start of the pack too, and get trampled by potentially 30 other horses.
Yep.
Yeah,
All for
Guess
some
that's what you
fucking
get.
lad to lose his fucking month's salary betting on like some outsider with a funny name.
I've been watching. Like, I had a cousin who likes or liked Formula One. So, like, when I was growing up, occasionally I'd had some exposure to it. Basically, Schumacher is all I take from it.
Mhm.
It was very good in Ferrari, but I started watching a Netflix documentary. Was it Drive to Success or
I've
Drive
heard
Drive
of
to
it.
Survival? Sorry. That's it, Drive to Survive. That makes way more sense. Get mixed up with these fucking Leave Insert like revision books again. Less stress, more success. Yeah, and I don't know. I just said to myself, because it coincided, I guess, the new season the new series on Netflix with the new season. Gave it a watch. Yeah, I'm pretty hooked. It's actually pretty. I don't know. Gets the adrenaline going.
Well, the documentary did its job, so
Absolutely. Yeah. I also drink Red Bull by the gallon.
the thing about Formula One, like, I just found it to be the opposite of exciting. When I'd watch it as a child, it'd be on RTE, and I'd turn it on,
Yeah.
and I would think, cars going super fast on a racetrack, this must be amazing. But it just went on and on and on, and it felt like they weren't going that fast, even though I knew they were. But it just didn't matter to me. That it was like watching Scalextrics, like. And the best thing about it was when they introduced the camera angle, which was inside the car, inside the like, what do you call it, the cockpit of the car. I don't even know if that's the right word to describe it, but like, so you can see what the driver sees when they're driving around. That is so cool. And every time they went to that angle, I was like, this is brilliant. But they would only do it for like 2 seconds in 5 hours. And I don't know why they wouldn't just do it the whole time. It's by far the best way to watch a race, I think.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like a game, isn't it? A game first person view.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gives you, like, you can see the world going past, and you can see the corners coming up as they come to it, so you can see the skill involved. Whereas when I'm watching it from like a helicopter, I mean,
it takes it takes the thrill away for sure. And and it's very true. It's very true now, since I kind of started watching, is that I saw it's either in the beginning of one of the seasons, and they were basically doing the promo beginning 30 seconds like every series does, And one of the comments was someone basically being like, it's not just the driving that's exciting, it's the politics and the fighting that's just as important. And it dawned on me. It's like, yeah, actually, I'm kind of watching it for these lads to be like, fighting for
But that's the
crashing into each
key.
other. Yeah, rather than
Yeah.
these cars going broom, broom.
Same with like boxing and MMA and stuff. It's like, it's grand, but
Yeah.
it's much better when there's personality clashes or something in it to give it like some
Yeah.
kind of stakes, some kind of rivalry.
And
I did watch
that's
Senna, the documentary Senna about Formula One, which was
Yeah.
entertaining because it was about a rivalry or like personalities. Much more interesting than just saying this guy is a great driver. Great.
Yeah, it's as well. I wonder too. This kind of goes back to an earlier point. With the personalities and the rivalries between like drivers and stuff. I guess you did have it in football. You get it less so in football now, but it's probably more the fans, and that's maybe why football's been a little bit not entertaining this year, because sometimes it's the fans and the fans' reactions and the booing and all that kind of stuff. Especially if you go to a game live, that's nearly the better part than the actual football, depending on who you support, I suppose. But
That's
yeah,
one other thing actually, because it's on at the minute. But any interest in the Masters?
Not really, no.
I kind of would watch the last the today. I'll turn it on now, but I
I
have no knowledge or interest really.
I heard someone saying that they were going to watch the golf, as in like the way we'd say, "Well, I'm going to watch the match and then I'll join you for the podcast or whatever." And someone said
Yeah.
something similar about golf, and I was like, "You're going to watch the golf?" And this was, I think, even before it started, where they're just doing like kind of, I guess, practice or something. I don't know. They're like pre-tournament rounds.
Yeah.
What?
I know. It is weird when you have someone who comes and says they're going to watch like a kind of a niche sport, like that they're going to stay up late to watch it or something, or are busy watching, the darts or the snooker or something.
Yeah.
Because in one way, it's like it means that their brain is so susceptible to peer pressure, but on the other hand, they're also doing something totally different from all their friends, so they have to have some kind of independent thought as well. So I don't even know how you come to this position where you end up staying up till 4 a.m. watching golf. Look, leave matter.
I'm sure if you understand it, it makes sense. But for me, it's like there's no excitement in it. And it switches. It's like constantly switching between players. So for me, I can't even focus on like, okay, player X is just taking his first shot and the ball is there. Now we were going to player B, C, D, E, back to player A, and I'm going, oh shit, what was his first shot like again? It's just watching random people take random golf swings to me. But that's just my ignorance, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's some golf fans there being like, these lads there in the bar.
Absolutely.
Watching
there definitely
football.
is. But
watching these random players kicking the ball with their foot.
I just got a chuckle the other day when someone was like, "Oh, I won't be on till this time" or something because I'm watching the golf. I was like, people actively watch golf. It's not just on in bars. That's crazy.
Especially for people who aren't rich, to care about golf is a bit weird.
Yeah, because like clubs aren't cheap.
Like golf it's there to, as a getaway for rich people from poor people. That's the whole point of golf. It's like you have all this land that you don't need for farming to keep yourself alive, and you can just mow it and play golf on it because you're that fucking rich and privileged. But some people get sucked into it.
There we go. We'll cut that bit now. We'll make that a little snippet. Our opinion on golf. Throw it into a lot of golf groups. It's for rich people. Stay away from poor
it
people.
is. Like, how could it not be? I mean, I feel bad for poor people who watch golf because they're just getting mugged off completely.
I don't even think people that play or enjoy golf would say, yeah, this is not for everyone. This is exclusive. So anything that has a club, a paid club.
Exactly.
I don't know if there's football clubs, but like anything that you have to pay a membership for, it's probably not for the general public.
Mm-hmm. Golf is a good walk spoiled.
Nice.
I didn't come up with that. Someone else said that at golf.
Wow, you've got great sayings tonight, Flynn.
Yeah. I'm just on wiki quote here. I just
Quote.
steer the conversation towards whatever quotes I'm on.
Yeah, GOLF enter. Ooh.
Songs about dead parents.
How long have we been recording for?
A good while.
Like
Hour and a half, probably.
nearly an hour and a half, I'd say. Well, an hour 20, I'd say, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Subscribe to the PUPcast on Snapchat and OnlyFans. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed number 31, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for number 32.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Brilliant. I forget what we were even talking about, so there's no way to segue to an end, really.
Yeah, and that's why we're Catholic. Goodbye, everyone.
You've been listening to the Put 'em Under Pressure podcast. For more of our content, make sure that you follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Facebook. Outro music.